This week on Let's Talk Schools, we're going to talk about the program that helped Fulton County Schools overcome the learning gap during the COVID-19 pandemic and recovery, which we called the Bridge to Success. Hello. Welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Schools. I'm Mike Looney, the host of the show, and the superintendent of schools here in Fulton County. Today, we're going to be talking about ESSER funding and the elimination of ESSER funding because we are in the rearview mirror of COVID. And I have the two local experts here, Montrell Bell, who has managed the funding process and the grant that we received, and our Chief Financial Officer, the esteemed Mr. Marvin DeReef. Good morning to the show. Welcome.
Morning. Thanks.
So, Montrell, let's talk about ESSER funding. We had the bridge plan. It's all in the rearview mirror now. It ended on September 1st or September 30th, And so where are we and how did we do?
Wow. What have we done? We have used this money to be innovative, to support our kids, support our families, to take care of the needs of our students in our district, to support summer learning, to really just bring the things that our kids and families needed in Fulton County for the past 3 years. And it has just been amazing. We've been on a whirlwind of innovation, and I'm just excited about the things that we have to celebrate with this
Thank you for your leadership. Mr. DeReef. So we did something a little bit different than a lot of other districts. We decided to invest in innovation, and we felt like it was an opportunity to do something different and innovative that's transformative for the students. Talk to us about your perspective and how we managed our way through the finances, and where do we end up at the end of the day? Do we use all of our grant money?
Well, excellent question, Dr. Looney. I'm excited. I'm excited about the district as a whole and what we saw as a great opportunity to make transformational change. Thanks to your leadership in bringing that in, you wanted to make sure that we didn't just use the money for whatever that comes about, that we thought strategically about what we needed to do with the funds. And we did just that. From a financial management standpoint, we didn't rush into action. We had a cross-functional team across the district. Everything from academics to IT to operations to financial services. We all gathered together and really created a plan, and that we call Bridge to Success. And I think we succeeded. Financially, we spent every penny of our grant that we received. That's $168 million when it comes to ESSER 3, and we didn't just spend the money to be spending it. We thought about what are the needs of the students and how can we make a difference in the lives of the students for Fulton County Schools. And I'm proud to say we did an extraordinary job.
Montrell, I know that I've read in various media outlets that people were either sending money back because they couldn't spend it all, or they were asking for an extension. Why is it that we were able to spend the money wisely and prudently and not have the same challenges that some other folks have had? Can you put your arms around that one for me?
Oh, absolutely. I think that the first thing we did was create a good plan. We were very careful and diligent about making sure that we were following the compliance rules, but also we sought out the biggest needs that our students had, being in the pandemic, not being around other kids. And so we really did seek out the things that they needed the most. And so once we found out how much investment we needed in academics and how much investment we needed for safety and just the support of our schools, those things cost a lot of money. And so we took the plunge and we put a lot of money investing in those things that didn't have to be purchased over again. And those things that we could use, the training of our teachers that would support them throughout their careers. And so we made heavy investments up first, I think, up front. And by doing that, we were able to really make a significant chunk a lot of that money up front. And so it was so interesting as we were spending, and it's like, oh, wow, we're spending all this money. How are we going to sustain all these things? And so I could see it from my perspective that, oh, we're spending it on the things that we need now. And then the maintenance and the sustaining of that would not take as much funding. And so I think it was a very strategic process that we went through. We had all of the leadership at the table and really made prudent decisions about those things that we needed to put a lot of money towards at first.
Mr. Darif, I know one of the things that we pride ourselves is being accountable and transparent. So our school board played a significant role in asking questions, getting reports about our expenditures related to ESSER. Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yes, our school board loves to make sure that we're transparent to the public, that the information is out there. And so I want to commend the communications department on helping us in IT and establishing the website and the information that we can put out there on a monthly basis. Really, anything you need to know about our plan and how we spent the funds are available on our website. Everything from our monthly presentations to the board to our dashboard, our incredible dashboard that not only just gives you information about the funding, but really about the activities in which we partake in, including the status. We kept diligent records and information about what we were trying to do and what we executed throughout the plan. So I want to personally thank our IT department. I want to personally thank our communications department, academic team, everyone that was involved in this, because it's a truly pride for me on how well we worked as a district to execute our plan and to keep the information out there publicly for the public, for the school board, for anyone that wants to know about how we spent the money. The information is there.
Well, let's talk about outputs, outcomes. So I know recently we've received ACT scores, we've received AP results, we've received milestone results, we've got graduation data, we've got, you name it, we have the data now. And so do we have evidence? What's the big picture here? Does the evidence show, does the data show that as a result of our expenditures of those funds, our students are better off today than they were earlier? So I'll start with Mr. Darif.
I truly believe so. I think the data is clear, especially from a standpoint of, the conversations was a lot about learning loss. And we saw that. We saw how in the data, how our scores dipped like every other district, but we also saw our improvements and how incrementally we were improving better than some of our benchmark districts because of the work that we were doing and putting in. But I'm gonna let Montrell talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I just think about all of the supports that we did provide. We were very strategic about recognizing the needs and then filling the gap. And so one of the metrics that we had was to outperform the state and the Metro District. And I do believe, as you have mentioned, that the data is showing that from all the way from K-12, from AP to graduation rates. We put in some significant dropout prevention strategies that not just address the dropout prevention crisis, but to really meet students at their needs. I mentioned innovation earlier. The PCI initiative, we were able to support some of the college programs by buying equipment that would help those students transition from their location on our Fulton County campus all the way over to ATC. And so we really did make significant investments, thinking long-term about CTAE innovation. And so I just think that we have that data, the statewide testing data. We're going to get that every single year. And I do think that's extremely encouraging as far as showing us that the literacy support and initiative that we did worked. But I also think that in those other measures that we have kind of around the surface, that we're doing, putting in a lot of inputs to make sure that all of our students are successful, all of them, and meeting the needs that they have.
I know in speaking with some of my fellow superintendents, they hired a lot of people using those funds. And as the money was used, and I don't want to say dried up, but it was used the way intended to, they were in a position where they had to lay folks off. And so it actually, in many ways, benefited our district because we were able to fill most of our positions because there were more applicants in the pool than there have been in the last several years, because when they were hiring, there was a shortage. Now there's more people in the pool because they've been laid off or let go. And so we have had I don't want to say a surplus, but a higher volume of applicants this year. Why is it that we didn't spend all of our money on people versus programs and sustainability?
I think that what we did, we hired the people to support the programs. Again, with our focus on students and the things that they needed, we knew that in some cases we had to hire staff to support those particular initiatives. Again, I mentioned the literacy part. So we did. We made strategic hires, I think. One, to support the needs of implementing the grant program management piece. But then the second part of it was people that were needed to help support initiatives. So if we needed staff to support with student safety, we hired student safety behavior specialists. We needed people to support literacy, we hired literacy. And so by hiring people to support the programs that we wanted to implement, it made a big difference in determining, are these people that we need to continue to support these programs, or have we been able to solve this problem? And so I think that we were very strategic about adding people, and in that way it made sense. It made sense. And so the one thing I did want to talk about, though, when it comes to people and hire, was the extensive investment we made in our extended learning programs and also our summer learning programs, in which, we had a big need that needed to be filled for our elementary people. We wanted our elementary students, if they needed to come to summer school, go to summer learning, we wanted them to be able to do that. But we recognized that there was an issue with them not being there all day. And so just again, from this funding, we were able to afford to have programs for students in the summer that were not just focused on reading and math, which are so important, but also focused on those extra arts programs, music programs, and science programs to make it an enjoyable experience and make those students want to attend. So I just think that we really did recognize the call and the need.
We kind of rocked it, didn't we? Mr. Garif, okay, so the money's gone. The feds are, I guess, closing up the ESSER shop, for the lack of a better way of saying it. Does that mean the reporting's gone? Are we finished with this? Can we just wipe the slate clean and now act like it never existed?
No, we continue to have to address the compliance aspects. There will continue to be audits and monitoring, because the funding ended as of September 30th, meaning 3 months in a new fiscal year. So our auditors are still going to audit for those 3 months. And of course, there's always a closeout process. And of course, there will always be conversations now. Now that it's over, everyone's going to reflect back. Well, what did you do? How did you spend the money? And I'm proud of what we as an organization is doing, is making sure that we package that story, that we've been thinking about that along the way, how to make sure we got the documents, working with our communications team. How do we tell our story on our journey? And so we're working on that right now, and we're thrilled about where we are and what we've accomplished. And now I think it's going to be a point of, do we have the opportunity to sort of toot our horns, so to speak, about the work that we've done? We've gone through several audits, clean opinion each time along the way, both external and our internal auditors, who do a great job of really, really making sure we stay in compliance and adhere to our own processes, procedures, and so forth. So I feel like we're in a good place, and as people evaluate our work and what we've done, I think they're really going to be excited about our outcome. So,
well, speaking of tooting your horn, or our horn, we have record performance on AP. We have a higher graduation rate. We have higher milestones results. We have more CTA participation. We have invested in our people. All of the data is pointing in a positive direction. And I say that because a lot of pundits have said we've lost a generation of students as a result of COVID. But if you look at Fulton County Schools' data, we actually are performing higher today than we did pre-COVID. And I think that's a testament to the teamwork that's been here. And we did a lot of innovative things. So I'm going to ask you both to think about this. What's the one thing, if you when you look back and when you reflect on this and say, man, I'm so glad that we did that? I'll ask you first, Montrell.
Oh man, I'm so glad we made the investment in literacy. I'm always wanting to make sure that the investments we make in our teachers and our staff make it to our kids, that our kids benefit from the professional learning, the building of their teachers. They get the benefit of having a great teacher. And I'm just really glad that we made that investment. I've been in this district over 20 years. And in the back of my mind, I've been saying, I wish every single teacher was a reading teacher, because it's so pivotal to all the other subjects that we touch. And so I'm just really proud of us for making that leap and making that effort. And I know it was very laborious along the way, and it's still, it has been for some people, and will continue to be as we continue to support our teachers. But I'm just really glad we made that investment.
I am too, and I'm proud of our board for trusting the staff and making that investment. Mr. Durreef, what about you? Is there something that sticks out to you? Say, I'm just so proud of the district for doing X.
Allowing me to hire Montrell to make this. But I think what made it all work is that we were willing to think strategically, and as you just mentioned, allow us to plan it out and then execute, and not just jump into this and just start spending money. So I think us being very thoughtful about what we needed and what we wanted to do really benefited us in the long run. Other people was moving fast at just spending money. We said, hold on. We know the rules aren't clearly defined yet. They kept changing the rules. So let's really think strategically about this, take our time, map it out, and then execute. And that's what we did. We mapped it out, and we see great results. So,
from my perspective, there's an old saying that goes, when you know better, you do better.
That's right.
The experience taught us to know more. And now that we know more, we can do more.
Yeah.
So thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being impactful leaders in Fulton County Schools. Montrell, thank you so much for your devotion and your commitment to transparency and accountability. In large part, you have carried the burden here. And so thank you for that. Mr. Durreef, as always, you do a tremendous job of making sure that our I's are dotted, our T's are crossed, and all the pennies and dollars are accounted for. So thank you for that. And folks, thank you so much for watching another edition of Let's Talk Schools. And now, let's go around the district in 90 seconds. That's it for our show this week. Let's keep this conversation going. We'd love to hear from you on our social media platforms. Join us next time on Let's Talk Schools. And as always, thank you for watching.